After swallowing the magic sugar cube, you get a feeling of invincibility. It looks like a normal sugar cube. It does have a bit of sparkle, though. It feels grainy. You feel a sustaining energy radiating from it. It is a slightly luminescent green stone about the size of your palm. The church bell is tolling. Finding the door unlocked and unbarred, you enter the church. The Church of Kolyma is where its citizens come to pray, confess their sins, and offer a penance, usually in the form of a coin. Columns of pews line both sides of the church. You notice a Bible has been left at the end of one of the rows. Candles burn solemnly in the dead of night. The symbol of the faith is displayed prominently in the church. A hideous statue of a grinning fiend forms an archway leading to the church's outdoor cemetery. From the pulpit, the sermon is delivered. The monk is dressed in a simple ankle-length robe. A belt of thick leather is tied around his ample waist. He wears worn sandals. You look over the Bible, which appears to be many decades old. You open it and find that an otherwise blank page at the front has been written on. It is dated over 20 years ago. You return the Bible to where you found it. You also notice that a page from the Bible has fallen onto the floor. You pick up the fallen page and read it. The words appear to have been written recently. Shine, why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd nearly won. You read the Shine, why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd nearly won. You read the Bible, Shine, why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd nearly won. The monk is dressed in a simple ankle-length robe. The monk is in deep prayer and does not respond to your words. From the pulpit, the sermon is delivered. Feeling humbled, you kneel down to pray. You rise again after a few moments. The monk stirs, stands, and turns to face you. One is meant to speak from a pulpit, not to it.
Father, I go now to a place of darkness. While I am stout of heart, the path laid down before me is unclear. I seek only the knowledge that my passage be illuminated by heavenly favor, and a prayer that I may make it through.
The monk gives you a reassuring smile and pats you on the shoulder. He then lifts a silver cross from around his neck and places it in your hands.
Thank you.
You are welcome, my child.
You can talk?
Of course.
I thought monks were forbidden from speaking.
Not all churches follow the same rules, and this church is quite unique.
Really? How so?
The monk just smiles placidly at you. You place the silver cross and chain around your neck and wear it as a necklace. You remove the cross from around your neck. It is a shiny silver cross dangling from a silver chain. You place the silver cross and chain around your neck and wear it as a necklace.
About this crucifix.
I believe you will find the cross to be of immense value. It has come to us at a huge price.
It was expensive?
I mean that it has cost us more than any value to be in possession of it.
If I may ask, why is it that you only open the church at dusk?
We find the late hours more favorable.
Surely then you would not have many in your congregation.
Yes, that is true.
What do you know of the Count?
Only that he is a heathen, a blasphemer. You serve God well by going there, my child. Bless you.
The monk smiles at you, turns back to the altar, kneels, and resumes his prayers. This collection box is for money and valuables. Its contents are to be removed only by the monks. You deposit a treasure into the collection box. Without warning, a pair of wolves dart out of the dark forest and dash towards you. For a minute there, you thought those wolves were going to attack. Curious as to why they didn't, you decide to follow them. You see the monk standing alone outside the church. Then you notice the two wolves approaching him. You are about to yell a warning to the monk, but the words die in your throat as the man steps forward and pats the wolves' heads.
No, my brothers, we must not hurt him. Not yet. He will go to the heathen's abode. He will do what needs to be done. What if he does not? Then, my brothers, we will complete the task before us, the one we began many years ago.
You quickly move away from the church, your heart racing faster with every step. You have a good idea now what will happen once the moon comes out in full, and you do not want to be anywhere near here when it does. One thing's for sure, you're not getting married in that church. You read the Bible page again. Shine why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd nearly won. You read the Shine why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd nearly won. The gates to town have been shut for the night. the haystack, or rather whoever or whatever is inside it. You hear the sound of a child sobbing nearby. You're not thirsty right now. As you approach, you recognize the child. It is Possum, the little girl you helped earlier today. You see the little girl crying. What could have happened, and why is she out so late at night?
Are you all right? What happened?
I went into town to buy some chicken soup for my grandma. I always try to reach home before dark, but this eve I lost my way and was attacked.
Attacked? A wolf attacked you?
No, not by a wolf, a dwarf.
For a moment, you're not sure that you heard correctly.
A dwarf, did you say?
Uh-huh. He jumped out at me, took my food, and then ran away.
Listen, I'm going to try to find this dwarf that you say stole your food. You get back to your grandma, understand?
Possum nods, says a soft thank you, and heads back home. You rap on the treehouse door and wait a moment, but get no response. How ingenious! A chimney protrudes from the trunk of the tree. Evidently, this tree forms part of a subterranean dwelling. Smoke rises from the chimney. You rap on the tree. You rap on. There is no reason to there. Brandishing your sword might make you appear. That is not enchanted. That is. You watch as a little man runs out of the door which has been built into a tree. You surmise that you have found the culprit's home. The vague aroma of chicken soup confirms it. That fiend! Finding the door ajar, you cautiously open it and step inside the tree. It seems you have entered the underground home of the thieving little dwarf. It is cozy, with a fire crackling in the hearth. A pot of chicken soup bubbles above the fire, giving a delicious aroma to the room. There is a trunk tucked away in the corner. A very sharp knife has been stabbed into the table. Its blade reflects the light from the burning fire. That's not a knife. The knife you found under a rock one time? Now that was a knife. You grab the handle of the bubbling pot of chicken soup. You take it with you. The elaborate display cabinet sitting to one side of the room looks heavy and expensive. You begin to wonder how the tiny dwarf managed to move it all the way down here by himself without damaging it. It is locked. It is locked. Upon opening the trunk, you find a number of items that the dwarf has obviously stolen and stashed away. Among them are some gold coins. They display the distinctive face of the first king. They could only have come from the magic chest of Daventry. An old trunk rests in the corner of this hovel. You close the chest. You open the chest. These coins each have the distinctive face of the first king. They could only have come from the magic chest of Daventry. The coins are all genuine. An old trunk rests in the corner of this hovel. Being caught snooping around someone else's house usually has a negative consequence. Did you learn nothing from your experience with that witch last year? You watch as a little... Finding the door ajar, you cautiously open it and step inside. Upon opening the trunk, you find a number of items that the dwarf has obviously stolen and stashed away. Among them are some gold coins. They display the distinctive face of the first king. There is a pot of chicken soup boiling over the fire. You grab the handle of the bubbling pot of chicken soup. You take it with you. You can think of no immediate use for the candle, so decide not to light it here. The coins. You sip the hot soup. Yum! The pot contains hot, bubbling chicken soup. The door of the little cottage is kept closed.
Welcome. Come in, please. Possum told me to expect you.
Grandma looks too weak to talk at length. Perhaps there's a way to make her feel better. The little girl is sound asleep. Do not wake her. It is a little too cold to be serving to frail old ladies. You place the now cold chicken soup over the crackling fire once more. After it heats up to eating temperature, you remove it again. You offer the soup to Possum's grandma, introduce yourself, and wait courteously while the frail elderly lady eats the nourishing meal. When she is finished, she sets the empty bowl down elsewhere and turns her attention towards you.
If you would like to speak with me for a while, I would welcome your company. A person should never turn away a visitor, especially when she reaches the twilight of her life.
You can't help but feel a sense of finality in the old woman's words.
You must have something in return for your kindness. You do not need to risk your safety for an old, worn-out woman like myself. Look under the bed. You should find something to keep you a little warmer on a cold night like this.
It is a simple yet comfortably soft bed. It is covered by a decorated quilt. You peer under the bed and find a thick black cloak. Lying atop it is a beautiful ruby-encrusted ring. You pick both up with reverence.
I could not possibly take these fine things from you.
Oh, please. I want you to have them. Nights in Kolima are cold, believe me. As for the ring, well, perhaps it is better that I do not have it to remind me.
As you wish. You have a charming young granddaughter.
Grandma smiles at you graciously.
She is a treasure to me. I would do anything to ensure that no harm comes to her.
If I may inquire, what became of her parents?
Grandma frowns, and her eyes darken for a moment before she forces a melancholy smile to her face.
They were lost to us many years ago. I am afraid dear Possum never really knew her parents.
It must have been a daunting task raising a child by yourself, especially at your,
At my age? I am certainly not as young as I used to be, and there is no shame in that. I have tried to raise her as best I could to keep her safe and well. However, I fear that as of late the reverse has become truer.
If you please, I was hoping you might tell me of the cloak and ring's origin.
The old woman closes her eyes as if the memory she seeks is painful to her senses.
They were my husband's. He was a proud man, the last of his line. His family had been rich, a great deal of old money, you might say. They lived in that castle you might have seen to the north. Its location upon that island is evidence of how much they valued their privacy. He was a good man, my husband. He took care of me. Certainly he had his strange habits. Most men do, if you would pardon me for saying so. I suspect that he practiced magic, so I could never catch him in the act. He would frequently journey afar, taking that black cloak with him wherever he went, to places he would not talk about. He said that it represented something important to a certain group of people, and that I was never to mention it to anyone. But he was always there for me, always, until that fateful night. We had been married just over a year, and I was heavy with child. We were both out walking in the weirwood forest late one night. The air was warm, and in our youth we paid little attention to the world and its many dangers. Besides, there was a full moon. We could see clearly enough. A shadow passed over us. We looked up, thinking it might have been a stray cloud. It was not. Descending upon us like a demon was the largest, most hideous bat I had ever seen. Its fangs were bared, and it dove straight for me. I must have screamed. My husband flung himself in front of me to protect me. He swung his arms about frantically in hopes of warding the horrid thing away. Perhaps he was trying to cast a spell, but could not recall how in his panic. It paid him no heed and would not be deterred. It swooped again and again relentlessly. At one point, my husband's hand must have clipped the bat's wing because it lost control and crashed into his shoulder. He tried to wrest the foul creature away, but then he shrieked suddenly. The horrid thing had bitten him. He never did recover from that incident. He just faded with each passing hour. Within 2 days of the attack, my husband had died. We buried him on his family's plantation on the island. Sometimes when I sleep, I can feel him watching over me, guarding me, protecting me. I think he is waiting for my time to come so we can be together always.
The old lady seems to be dozing off. You can barely hear her final words.
I miss him so.
Telling the story has clearly taken a great deal out of her. You watch the old woman a moment and notice her labored breathing as she sleeps. Despite the little girl's tireless daily efforts, perhaps there's nothing more to be done. The black cloak would fit a taller man than you. The ring is gold with an enormous red ruby. The word beloved is engraved inside the gold band. Your crystal has become a dazzling emerald. The black cloak is a fine garment. It feels thick and warm. The inside is lined with red satin. The black cloak would fit. You are now wearing the beautiful ruby ring. With a flourish, you fling the black cloak around your neck and fasten it.
Sister Agatha, my dear, tell me you have good news.
The king has arrived in Kalima, father.
That is not what I meant.
Yes. Well, he appears to be quite resourceful. It seems his reputation was not totally exaggerated.
He's still alive?
For now, but that will change soon, I think. The king has discovered that one of the gems he seeks is in the possession of a colleague of ours. Do you remember? Kaldor.
Yes. Is he still trustworthy?
Totally. Still sharp, and there's no questioning his loyalty. My humblest apologies, father, but would it not have been simpler for you to have dealt with Graham personally?
Fool! Imagine the ensuing chaos where Daventry's king murdered in his own land. How then would I be able to search for the item?
I see.
Failure is not an option.
Understood, father.
Keep me informed, preferably of good King Graham's death.
You open the mailbox, but find it empty. There's no reason to use that with the bat symbol. That has no effect on the skull. It feels After swallowing the magic sugar cube, you get a feeling of invincibility. You feel the poisonous water seeping into your skin. Its potency takes effect immediately. You read, "Shine, why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd nearly won." You read, "Shine, why early, newborn." You read, "Shine, why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd nearly won." You read, "Shine, why early, newborn sun, when sadly we'd near." You read, the "Shine, why early." You read, the "Shine, why early, newborn." You "Shine, why early, newborn." You read, the "Shine, why early, newborn sun." You read, "Shine, why early, newborn." This is a dreary, oppressive swamp. Everything here seems to be growing near foul-smelling water. Very little light manages to filter through the thick canopy-like leaves above. In the far distance, you can just make out what appears to be a castle. From here, you cannot make out much detail. However, it is unquestionably a castle. The walkable land extends further north, if that is indeed north, a short way. It ends in a sort of small peninsula. Beyond it is a wide expanse of dark, poisoned water.
Boatman, I need passage. I said,
I heard.
The ghoul's voice chills you to the bone. It speaks with a deep, resonating bitterness. You cannot make out a great deal of its face, but what you can see has the hairs on the back of your neck standing on end.
In life, I would row this boat for the master. Long ago was my untimely death in these waters, but still I remember many things. Laughter, tears, joy, pain.
May I cross, Sir Boatman?
You have come to raid the master's house. This I know, but care not about. You should be warned, though. The master is not what he once was. Never has this land known a kinder, more compassionate, and nobler ruler than he. But his fate has long since been decided. Down a dark path he now treads, and he feels naught for anyone nor anything save for one other, and even that is a rare trait for a Nosferatu.
You freeze. Neither the Door of Destiny nor Neptune mention this count as being undead. As you prepare to climb into the boat, the boatman extends his claw-like hand to you. Obviously, he no longer gives free rides. The boatman accepts your payment and motions for you to climb into the boat. The shrouded ghoul paddles across the toxic lake to the shore on the other side. The path leads to the castle's front door. The thorns and brambles are sharp. Ouch! You feel the sharp brambles graze your skin. Your vision blurs and you begin to feel lightheaded. You feel a heavy coldness run through your entire body. Soon you are unable to stand. Finally, even your eyes become too heavy to keep open, and they close for the last time. The coin. These coins each have the distinctive. After swallowing the magic sugar cube, you get a feeling of invincibility. The sharp thorns brush against your skin. However, instead of feeling intense pain, you only experience a slight tingling sensation. Evidently, the magic sugar cube did its job. The ghosts waver, as if being threatened by even the slightest breeze, yet something holds them in place. It may be nothing more than an intensely strong determination or sense of purpose that keeps the spirits anchored to this world. The ghosts. When you speak to the ghosts, they utter a mournful wail. When you speak to the ghosts, they utter a mournful wail. As you approach the ghosts wearing the black cloak, they seem to notice you, and then begin to drift away towards the cemetery. The main entrance to the castle is a set of heavy wooden doors. It looks to be fairly solid. It also looks to be entirely unwelcoming. As you reach to push the massive doors open, you realize there are no handles. The only thing visible is a small keyhole, which slightly resembles a cross. Having an idea, you push the crucifix into the cross-shaped keyhole. It fits. You hear a click, and the door unlocks. You push the heavy wooden door open, take a deep breath, and step nervously inside the castle entrance. The moment you enter the great hall of the castle, you begin shivering uncontrollably, and not just from the cold. This place has an air of death wherever you go. As if creeping around this huge castle was not enough, knowing full well that an undead creature resides here would unnerve even the most stout-hearted of adventurers, you feel desperate to get what you came for and anxious to leave as quickly as possible. You place the portraits on the wall depict the couple who once lived here. They look young and proud. Behind the mask of apathy that comes with aristocracy, there's a certain kindness in their eyes. You should leave the portraits here. They may well be missed, and that being the case, you might go missing as well. Expecting them to be filled with mushrooms or potions? Think again. The great hall of the castle is a large room, quite regal in appearance, even in its simplicity. You can imagine that, in days long since past, this would serve as an impressive welcome area to guests and visitors. You suspect that such a grand entrance would be experienced by few, if any, nowadays. The fireplace looks as if it has not been used in quite a long time. You shudder, both from the cold and from the thought that the resident likely has no need of a warm house. There is no wood, and as such, you cannot start a fire. You feel a chilly draft running through the halls. This is a grand old private library. You can imagine that the literature contained herein would make the town library pale in comparison. The bookcases extend all the way to the high ceiling. This bookcase appears to recount the entire family history of the past counts of Kalima. The line apparently dates back many, many centuries. These books pertain to the ever-expanding world of science. As you skim over the titles, you see one that says, Evidence of a Spherical World. You shake your head. What will they think of next? This would appear to be the classic fiction section. It is a collection of literature dealing with the arrival of the first mages and what became of their descendants, who were and are all mages themselves. Evidently, the Count must be one such descendant, hence his apparent interest in the subject. This marble bust must be of a past Count. While it has some resemblance to the current one, the face looks markedly different from that of the town statue. The bust, being made of marble, is smooth and cold to the touch. The bust. You are not interested in a family history. Science has always been a controversial subject in your mind. You'd rather hang on to the perception of the world that you were brought up with. You have no interest in any of these books right now, even though you would like to read up on how Daventry's own first king arrived with the others of his kind. You have more important things to do right now. An old shovel rests against the stone wall. It looks well used. You take the shovel into your possession, digging yourself into a hole again. The shovel has a wooden handle with a thick metal spade on the end. It is of a reasonably proportionate weight. The window looks out onto the island far below. Through it, you see that the bricks of the castle might provide some footholds if you are inclined to go climbing. You are not desperate enough to climb out the window. You can exit through the front door. You are howling like a wolf may only attract unwanted attention. The window looks out onto the island far below. Through it, you see that the bricks of the castle might provide some footholds if you are inclined to go climbing. Unnaturally pale light illuminates a small area of this tower. It is a long dining table completely covered with dust. Scratches scar the legs of the table. This is just a small storage room. Rows of red wine barrels are neatly stacked and piled along the wall. At least you think they contain wine. Seeing nothing else of real importance, you head back into the dining room. A foul stench wafts up from the gloomy darkness into which the stairs descend. The ghosts waver, as if being threatened by even the slightest breeze. When you speak to the ghosts, they utter a mournful wail. Kitty, 1500 to 1510. Sudden did the illness come upon sweet Kitty, no longer young. There is nothing more that can be done. Her lives are up. She's had her fun. Kitty. Susanna Somnia, 1195 to 1265. He had put her to bed after she'd had supper, but forgot next morning to stir and wake up her. You suddenly find yourself unable to move. The ethereal spirits drain the life force right out of your body. You tup with the spirits and find only the graves. The ghosts are not interested in that. The ghost. The ghost. The ghost. The ghost. The ghost. Don't you know that You hold your candle up to the blazing torch. It catches. Your candle is now lit. The staircase beyond is very dark. Fortunately, your candle provides just enough light to see where you are going. There is a beautiful ornate coffin to one side of this eerie room. Dust is everywhere, cobwebs fill the corners, and a sickly odor permeates the air. The lid of the beautifully carved coffin is closed. A raised stone dais has been built for the sole purpose of keeping the coffin off the ground. Presumably, this makes it easier for the coffin's occupant to climb in and out. The thought gives you the shivers. There is nothing you can do with the dais. Fire is hot. Don't touch it. The thick black cloak that you are wearing hampers your efforts to lift the coffin lid. Try removing the cloak first. The black cloak is You remove the black cloak again. Nervously, you lift the heavy lid of the elegant coffin. You peek into its red satin interior. The coffin is unoccupied, and you feel relief wash over you. As you prepare to look inside the coffin,
King Graham, I presume.
You turn on your heel. There, blocking the only exit from this dismal room, stands the Count. His skin is pale, his eyes jet black. He wears a black cloak nearly identical to the one that you possess.
You know me?
Ah, Yes, indeed. Sister Hagatha alerted me to your arrival, dear king.
The Count is too far away for you to be able to use it effectively. Desperate to stall for time, you query the Count.
Sister Hagatha, you say? Who is she?
The Count regards you with a suspicious glare.
Though I suspect you already know the answer, Hagatha is a charming mage who does as she pleases in this land.
Strange. I was not aware a new ruler had been elected.
Do not be foolish. Hagatha has no interest in the politics of this wretched place, nor do I, in point of fact. Death tends to diminish one's taste for power. No, at present, she is interested only in one thing, as am I, your destruction.
In an instant, you are flat against the wall. The Count has you pinned so well you can't move a muscle, much less put up a defense. You can feel the Count's iron-cold hand on your throat. You have barely seconds before the inevitable happens. With difficulty, you manage to loosen the ruby ring from your finger and drop it to the floor. The Count's eyes dart to it quickly, then flash angrily back to you.
Where did you get that?
The elderly woman who lives in a house to the south of here, near the beach. She gave it to me for helping her.
The Count regards you for a moment. His dark eyes bore unendingly into yours, and you feel as if your very soul is bare.
What do you know of her?
She is not well.
I know! Do you think I am not aware of that?
You are sweating profusely. Hopefully this vampire doesn't find the odor appetizing.
Night is the most dangerous of times for my mortal family. I have kept constant vigil over my wife for many years, so that from the darkness no harm would come to her. When her time comes, we will be together forever.
I think tonight will be the night. I have seen her this very eve. I did what I could to help her, but I do not think it was enough.
As you watch the giant bat fly out of the room, you realize with dread that the Count has confiscated your crucifix. Without it, you are trapped in this castle. Now what are you going to do?